Hello, welcome. I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on this game called Dungeons and Patterns. It's a role-playing game. I'm not at the start here. Let's try that. Okay. This role-playing game. Last time we located some images and we built up a small piece of navigation to at least show different images in Elm, and spent some time struggling to find a way to hook up the CSS styling. Today we're going to focus on navigation. And so the idea is there's a map of some sort, and I'm not quite sure if this is the current one or any of that. You know, this is several years since I looked at this for real. But you have this notion of room. So the circle on the left says you're kind of going down into the dungeon, and you start in room 1A, and from there you can go to 1G, and then you have a couple choices. There are a couple of hallways kind of connecting 1C to 1F and then 1K to 1H with at least a few rooms in the middle. So the idea is you go from room to room. Each room has some sort of description and a puzzle. If you solve the puzzle, the door to the next room opens and you can move on from there. All right, and then a hand-done map, okay. And I'm not quite sure what's accurate for this thing, but you come down on the right 2A. You're coming down from level 1 down to level 2, and you can either go to the portcullis gate at 2C or a regular door at 2B. And I think the S's on the door may mean you have to solve it to move forward. Okay. Now the original map was included in the Pattern Master guide that would be the analog to a Dungeon Master in Dungeons and Dragons, TM somebody. But we didn't normally show this to the people. We would just let them work it out on their own, kind of in the old tradition. You would map it out as you went through it. I would like to find a way to show it as they solve it or something, but we don't have that. All right, so let's see where we were. All right, so between times, last time we tried the very basic thing to show images, and it seemed like we had that working, that you could go forward and back a couple images. We tried managing this in, we used Elm Reactor and get the CSS working so we could style it a bit, and apparently that didn't work. So we tried getting Elm Live working at the end there, and I tried doing that offline. There's just something really screwy with it. It may well be configuration. It may be that I'm running Big Sur. Who knows what the problem is, but I could not get Elm Live working. And so I kind of went back to the Elm Reactor just to get like, well, what did I mess up? It turns out I didn't mess up anything except knowing what to look for, apparently. It was working. Okay, so there was an hour or two wasted trying to get Elm Live going and realizing this. But anyway, we've got CSS working. Now let me show that. So let's, we'll keep showing CSS working, I guess. Okay, let's see. We are here. Let me get to the terminal window. Trying to find the one with Elm Reactor. Okay, I've got Elm Reactor running. I can go to localhost 88,000. Okay, and what I did was I took that example from one of the documents we saw, and I just copied it straight up. Just tried it out. It works. And it's like, okay, well that works. Why doesn't mine work? Well, mine does work. All right. So what I started doing was I started playing with the CSS to make it very obvious that it wasn't working. And let's see, I got to the IDE. Let's find the CSS. Okay. I made that opacity 10%. Let's. I don't think we're really going to change the opacity, so let's just take it out. Okay. Now we do a refresh. No, well, and if I have to, I'm trying to throw something else at it so it forces a reload, but maybe I need to just do an option Command R. What did I do? Did I save it? So maybe I'm not totally out to lunch here. Forcing. Reload from origin. There we go. Oh, that was Option Shift R. I gotta remember that. Option, Command Option R. Okay. Anyway, you can see it's not as faded as it was because the CSS is working. Okay, so yeah. It's just amazing how often you can find yourself in situations like this. I was trying to debug it, but I was actually running it on the wrong window or whatever. All these things happen. All right, but anyway, what I've got is I've got this thing centered and 50% width. I'm going to change that to 33. Now, the thing about Elm Live is it does auto refresh. So I had to hit Control Command Option R there. All right. Now I'm comfortable that we can modify our Elm file. We don't need Elm-2. We'll delete that. And let's just work on main Elm. Okay, so we got with style. We put a node in there, text CSS, and import our CSS file. That's good. I've got these buttons. And now what I want to do, I'm going to move them to the bottom. Okay. Well, what I want to imagine, so what we have now, we have our main image, and we default to pets.gif. Otherwise, we try and get it from the images. I've just got two images in there, two rooms, and forward and back. All right. Now, I want to do this off off something else. Okay, what have I done here? Main equals div. What was this down here? View. Now I've messed up myself. Okay, main was browser.sandbox, this stuff. Okay. I looked around. It sounds like Atom is kind of a decent choice for what we're doing here. Okay, let's see if we get back to our editing. All right, so I'll reload. I should get previous next. Okay, and I've got this box. If I hit next, I go to this one, and I get my animals. Otherwise, I'm not sure what the blue there is. Okay. That line doesn't look so good. The 2M is kind of superfluous too, but anyway, that's sort of the default. And if I'm in the range 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2 is out of range. Okay. Now, this is where I don't know, I haven't made decisions about things. Maybe that's the way to say it. This representation, I mean, I have the notion that there are these rooms, okay? I don't care about the hallways per se. I may have to pretend this hallway is a room and this one's a room, and I'll deal with that. Um, hmm. I'll deal with that at some point. Okay. But what I want to do now is I want to have some representation, okay, um, of this map. And I'm thinking, I mean, it's kind of a graph. Let's think about a graph that somehow you're going to start in 1A. You only have one choice, so go to G. G can go to C or B. I just want to get the navigation through so that everybody can go to everything. And somehow, and then eventually, I'd like to make it so that instead of just going to one of these rooms, if we've seen the room before, I'd like to see a little reminder of what it is. I don't think these labels need to mean anything, even though the picture has a 2M on it in one case. But what I'm thinking is that there's some sort of structure, okay, and I'm learning here, but I think each room is going to have a name, and it's going to have a list of connections to the doors to the other rooms. Okay, and so the connection is going to be a list of rooms. So I think this thing's going to be map-like. Okay, you have a name, and it takes me to at least a list of connections. I think there's going to be more stuff in the room too, right? There should be a picture. Okay, so I think I'll put the name goes to some structure that contains the picture and a list of room names of connections. All right, and I want to use TDD. What I saw, well, I think we say like test-elm init somewhere. And I'm going to try it. I'm not even sure where you do it. All right, let's see. Before I do that, let's check in. All right, so move this out of the way. Reactor, I think we'll just leave that running. Okay, where's this one? Okay, let's try elm-test init and see if we get anything. No. All right. That means I gotta look it up. elm-test. Now maybe I'm supposed to install something, I guess. All right, let's see this. Elm Explorations Test Suites. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Especially as NPX. I don't know what NPX is. Run test with NPX. elm-test. Run on watch mode. That sounds promising. 3 places you can put tests in the test folder. Okay, system source file. elm.json. So I think I want to be up a level. All right, well, let's see what we got. npm install. Let's try that. And oh my goodness, I had everything so trashed with Node and npm and brew, and everything else was just like, I hope I'm back. Probably the wrong level. And I was supposed to check in first, right? Okay. What we got? Elm package.json. Okay, so let's let's remove elm package. And we'll just package.json. Main elm stuff. I don't know if index is really quite useful, but let's keep it. I may leave that for the moment. Let's see. Okay, so now where am I? I think here is where I want to do that npm. Okay, it appears to be in place. All right, what did it tell me? Quick start, do this. I guess. All right, so I've initialized. I have a tests folder. All right. Okay. Let's see if we can get Adam to start doing some work here. All right, it's got the tests folder. Example. I'm going to hide these. To do, implement our first test. Okay. All right, we're eventually going to do this, but let's add that to our to-do. Sort of a new section down here to run tests. Okay, that's the watch version. And the other version, oops, is elm-test. And I kind of like this better. All right, now what did it say in there? So, example says go here. I remember you say something like test. Okay, here are 3 example tests. And describe. All right, let's just try this. Okay, so that. Okay. Save all. Seems prudent. All right. Now I'm going to take this command and I'm going to run it here. npx elm-test, and hopefully it runs those examples. All right, so 2 tests passed, 3 tests ran, 3 tests passed. Okay, and we have this notion in Elm of fuzz tests that generate some random ones based on some criteria. I'm not going to mess with that at the moment, but you can see it. So you say fuzz instead of test, and then it generates its own test strings and then runs it through the example function. All right, let's look at them here. Okay, so this describe is optional, but test, then the name of the test, and then you, whatever you call this piping thing, you pass in a lambda function or a lambda expression. It doesn't really use this argument, so you can use underscore, and you make up something, and it has an expect that should apply. Okay, so we expect this Hannah to be as a palindrome because the string should equal its reverse. And here, yeah, I guess that's a little different examples. If you take A, B, C, D, E, F, G and reverse it, you should get G, E, G, F, E, D, C, D, A, right? Okay. But again, you're using this forward pipe operator. Okay. Notice backwards and forwards. Okay, so we pipe into the stuff to expect. Okay. All right, we'll leave that example for a minute. Now, what are we going to do? I'm going to call this map. And I don't know, the convention, they seem to put tests on the end when they're putting it in the same file. I just don't know. All right, so what a map looks like. It's something like no Oracle suggestions, okay. That's really annoying. Hope I don't get it on every keystroke. So we've got a map, and it's a room name goes to, and then some sort of tuple-y kind of thing. Are they braces in them? Field kind of things. The tuple should be the image, and that's a file name of some sort or some sort of variant of something. And it's a bunch of connections, exits, and that's a list of room name. Okay. I mean, that's the kind of structure I have in mind. And I want to do things like next rooms. Okay, can I ignore that somewhere? All right, so I've got this map. I want to ask it the next rooms, and I want to ask it the picture image. Okay. Alrighty. Oh, no idea. maybe I should call this dungeon, because map's sort of an overloaded word already. I don't know. All right, so I'm gonna ask, well, I'm gonna copy. So as you can tell, I'm a beginner. All right, so I need a module. I need 2 out of 3 of these. Okay, I think I need to rename this to match. Dungeon. No such file. Rename user net. Oh, that's really weird. Oh, it did it anyway. Okay, dungeon. Module dungeon. No, I'm going to mess myself up if I'm doing that, aren't I? Let's rename this to test. Okay, thank you for your opinion. Dungeon test. I don't need fuzz. I'll just keep a little section over here for uncaught exceptions that mean nothing. Okay. We need a suite. I guess. And we don't actually have to do these describes. I'm of two minds about them, honestly. Well, we'll just take the whole thing and do some chopping. Okay, describe the string module. I don't think I need this top level describe. I don't even think I need this describe. All right, but I do. I do have these tests, so I can have a list of tests. Seems okay. All right, so my test is I want to give it well, I want to make a dungeon giving it a map. I mean, dictionary, whatever we call it in Elm. I'm not quite sure. But I want to create a map with a dictionary, and then well, what's one thing I can do? The easiest one is maybe if I don't find the room, like I don't know, that shouldn't happen. If I find a room, ask it for its image. All right, so lambda this. We'll take the second test style. So if I say dungeon and then, I don't know, an elm map. I should have saved the elm documentation somewhere. Elm documentation. Package docs, that's actually what we want. Packages elm core. Basics dictionary. Okay, so I think, well, this is probably okay. I can do something like this. I'm going to define a room, and I don't know, I'm just, oops. Hopefully that copies. All right, so a room, I've said it's an image, and it is a bunch of exits, which is a list of strings. I do it this way. I would like to think so. Okay, that's what a room is. And I'm gonna make a map. A dungeon is gonna be dungeon. I guess it's gonna take a list. I'm kind of going by analog to this. If I give you this list, you should handle it. Okay, so I'm going to say dungeon takes a list. Room, as it goes to, nope, just comma. And then we're going to have room, and the image is image name. And the list of exits are empty. Okay. So if you take that and pipe it to image, I say dungeon.image, and then pipe it to I expect the image to be equal to image name. Print. Okay. And I usually say this room knows its image. Okay. Now dungeon doesn't exist. So if I save, let's go to this option, save all, command option S. Okay, so now if I run this, I expect some sort of syntax error because dungeon is a non-existent thing. All right, so let's go to where we ran this. Let's do the same thing. Now we've still got our example there, so we'll have that. All right. I want elm type. Now I'm wishing my windows were in a different order, so I'm just going to swap that. Okay, so let's see list. Here, list with the 1, 2, 3 list syntax. I guess I just say list there instead of string. Instead of array. Okay, can't find dungeon.image. Can't find dungeon. These names seem close. All right, let's make a dungeon. Dungeon. Dungeon is really a dictionary. And I'm not clear on typing use versus type, I'll admit. I think one's creating a real type, the other's creating using an existing type. But I'm going to have a dictionary from string to room. I think that's the type of dungeon. Okay. And I'm going to save this, and I'm going to turn on this watch one, right? It was just -- watch. Yeah. All right. So what I expect this to do is just keep running, fail the first time. Okay, and now see it's watching for changes in a nice readable dark blue, purple on black. I can't find dictionary type. Well, I guess I need to import one. And I'm doing it in the test for now, but eventually we'll get past that. Okay, and this is import, and let's find our other example. I guess I can just import list. So import list. I'm going to be lazy for now and just expose everything about it, save it, and see what happens. Okay. I can't find dungeon.image. All right, well that's progress. Okay, so I think dungeon. See, this is where. Dungeon. I got a dungeon. I ask it for the image. I need to give it a room. Okay, so this is the room I'm asking about, and I need a function. Okay, well, dungeon, image. Image goes from dungeon. I'm not so good on this. These functions, definitions. Images is of type array of string. Update is of type message to model to model. Ours is closer to that. I want to go from a string to, well, I really want to go from a dungeon and a string back to a room. I think. Actually, I want to go from a dungeon and a string, which is the room name, should give me a room. No, it should give me a string. So given that I'm in this room, I'm going to get this image name. And these types are getting a little ugly already, but let's go on. Okay, so now image equals, well, what are you going to do? You got a dungeon. Let's see. There's a way to do this better. Yeah, I can put the arguments. All right. Image of dungeon room name equals, well, what you're going to do is you're going to take dungeon dot, oh, you're not going to suggest for me? Oh. Well, okay. Dictionary keys and values. I should query. Member is in a dictionary. Get the value for a key. Return a maybe. Well, I don't know. Give it the value and the dictionary and get back a maybe. All right, give it the value, room name. This is get room name dungeon. All right, that gives me a maybe, which is either going to be a string or nothing, just a string or empty. All right, and now I got to convert empty to a value. All right, gosh, I don't know. Maybe I'm going too far here. I think I am. Let's start with a clearly failing test. Don't know. Okay, you ask me for the image in a given room in the dungeon, and I tell you I don't know. And I expect image name. Okay, that feels like a good starting test. Dungeon.image. Okay, I'm writing some of the language here. Image is my function. Takes a dungeon. I get twisted on these. Oh my goodness. Dungeon room. These names seem close enough. Cannot find a dungeon variant. All right, well, we're due for a break, so let's take a 2 or 3 minute break. I'll get in the swing of Elm at some point here, but yeah, a break first. Welcome back. All right. So I think, let's see what the error is. All right, I can't find a dungeon variant. So I think what this is I don't know how to construct one. Well, a dungeon is like a dict string room. Maybe, I think I might need to do this. This thing does from list. Dictionary does. Let's see if I can find dictionary again. Right, to build a dictionary, we use from list. So I think we can say there's, well, there must be a from list somewhere. Where is it? Dict.fromList, list. There it is. Okay. So I think I could say dict.fromList, just like the examples did up here. I don't know if I need to say dungeon on there or not, but dungeon.fromList, these names seem close. Dict.fromList. Now, what if I try dictionary.fromList? Now, I tried creating a terminal. There's just goofiness. Let's do that. New terminal window. It blew up. You know, like, okay. I don't know. Adam seems to be having some issues. All right, but let's save this and see if that did anything. Yeah, okay, well, we get a different complaint. The body is a list of tests, but the type annotation on suite says it should be test. Okay, that's probably on me. Right. Piping it to a function that expects string. Argument to image is not what I expect. The argument is type image, but it's tangent. Second element of this list does not match all the previous elements. Oh, what do dictionaries? Oh, I need to parenthesize these. Okay, that's something. Okay, so this is a pair. Like that. That's something better. Suite is test. Let's just take this array off and see if that gets us going. Can I click through these? Command click. And option click for multiple cursors. No, I just want to command click and get there. Okay. Again, I'll see what I got. All right. Can't scroll this anymore. Let's start that again. What? Okay, well, blank is piping to a function that expects string. Image of room. Maybe I gotta switch things around. Okay, something that's just gone really weird. Type mismatch. Function can't handle the argument sent through the forward pipe. Dictionary goes to image. Argument is dictionary string room, but piping it to a function that expects string. Now I reversed the image needs the first argument to be that. Okay, did I save? I'm going to do it fast enough. Save. Okay, something went. Function cannot handle the argument sent through the pipe. The argument is dictionary string room, but pipe to a function that expects string. Now I would have said image of room is image of string. Oops. Okay, so image takes a room and a dungeon and produces a string. I don't know if that's the right order for general purposes. Wow, okay. 3 tests, except that it should have been 4. Suite equals test. Am I going to have to do all this other stuff just to get the same? Describe. A suite maybe should be an array of tests. All right, let's look up some elm-test stuff. Tests of test, not of suite, maybe. Okay, so let's try test. Oh, I did. Tests equals, well, this doesn't change anything. Tests equals, and I hope that's all right. Let's see, do I have the code here? I just want some documentation. Oops. Modules, test. Test takes a string and a function and produces a test. Describe takes a string and a list of tests. Why isn't that running? All right, what's going on here? Suite of tests. Let's take this one out. Trying to parse the declaration, but I got stuck. An example that elm. Because everything's gone. Alright, let's take this back. Let's go to our test. Try the basic, most basic thing. Suite of tests, suite equals that. Let's just let these be these. Okay. Running one test, to do. Why is it only running one? What's my command says watch everything. Now this, I'm going to move this out. Move it up here. Okay, example. And just putting in stuff to make it. I don't know why it was only appearing to watch one file. Are there tests in any directory? No exposed values of type test. Well, this sure looks like in the tests directory, no exposed values of type test found. Are there any tests in any elm file? Are they exposed? Dungeon test exposing everything. Has two methods. All right, let's hide all this. one to do. What the heck? All right. Test. Well, let's do this. Lambda nothing. Expected equal 4. I saw a type annotation for test, so I was expecting its definition here. Saw the beginning of an anonymous function. I was expecting to see an arrow next to it. Well, fair enough. I meant to type 1. And there are no tests. Now, why not? Because this one was just exposed a minute ago. I wish there were a little more information so I could tell if it's really going. I'm going to move this over. Let's do this. Okay. I say save, it runs. Oh. And if I call it sweet, why should that matter? Let's go back here. Let's pull this in. Is it going to run 3? Whoops. I'm not going to care about fuzz tests. For now. No exposed value type test. Exposes everything. Let me hide this. Okay. Okay, now what if I pull my test in? Cannot find an image variable. Oh, I commented this thing out. Maybe I've got to be more careful about putting multiple things in one. Oh, this is so weird. So if I do this, save. Didn't that work just a minute ago? All right, let's try putting the dungeon class file together. New file, dungeon.elm. Now, I think this has nothing about this in here, so I don't see why it wouldn't find both tests. All right, it finds both tests. Now, can I find the third test? No. I cannot find dictionary.fromList. I cannot find a dictionary import. Well, see, I don't understand why I have to say dictionary. I'd like to say dungeon. Dungeon from list does not expose from list. From list takes a list of string and room and it room name, room, okay. Dictionary does not expose from list. Dungeon.elm. I cannot find dictionary.from list. And not import dictionary, import dictionary. Let's just try from list. I may get some recursive thing. From list. Did I spell that lower? From list. Let's make sure the test says from list. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Oh, now we're really getting somewhere. Okay. 3 tests. The room knows its image is not true. Okay. Well, we're cooking with gas now a little bit. All right. The expected image name got done. Okay. So now I've got to do some implementation. Okay. Now this seems okay. This seems okay. That's, I guess, okay. Dungeon, we probably exposed too much. All right. So what I want to do is I want to do dungeon. I gotta put the function first. Get dungeon. Get dungeon room name. All right, that gives me a maybe. I'm gonna get a complaint about maybe string. Okay, the room name value is a string, but get needs the second argument to be a dictionary. Get let's see, where's our documentation? Dictionary get takes a comparable and a dictionary. I've gone backwards. Get room name from dungeon. All right, now I think I get a complaint about maybe. Right. Produces a maybe room. Okay. And now maybe, maybe is a bit of a pain. It's doing the right thing, but it's ugh. Okay. So it's sort of the alternative to a null pointer effect. Okay, optional arguments basically. Yeah, I look up the room. It might not be in the dictionary. What should I do? Okay, one alternative is I can turn it into a default value. Default value and the maybe returns the default value. Now I can make a case for this in my example. All right, I'm going to change my test. I'm going to add a new test. Let's start with quote simpler test. All right, this test is unknown room returns unknown that goes to lambda. Okay. And if we take, let's take, well, we can take an even simpler one. If we take dungeon from list, let me give it an empty list. It's not going to find the name. Image room unknown room gives expect equal to unknown image. And this gets a comma. And actually, I'm just going to comment these lines out for a moment. Okay, I'm backing up to a simpler test. Unknown room returns unknown image. Okay. Take an empty dungeon, look for the unknown room, get back the unknown image. Save. Should get the same value. One, two new brackets. Yeah, why would that even be here? I'm not sure how that was there before. Something's off the body of the image definition. Get call produces maybe room, but we want an image. Okay. Let's go over here. You get a room. Right now we've got maybe room. Okay. If I take maybe room and I pipe it to the with default, well, this is a room with the image. I think I can do this. Image unknown image exits empty list. Okay, so now I have a room one way or the other. All right, and I'm gonna get the image from it. I think I can just do that. Save. Huh. I just saw a field name, so I was expecting to see an equal name. Okay. I cannot find a with default. I'm never quite sure. I guess if I don't import it, I gotta be explicit, huh? Okay. The function cannot handle arguments sent through the pipe. Get room dungeon. The argument is maybe room. Okay. Did I make a room in here? I did, right? Room image name that. Okay, maybe I need to be more consistent. Room unknown image empty list. But with default, okay, I'm gonna have to look up this thing. If, sorry. All right, these are function applications. This is A goes to A goes to B goes to B. X piped to F is the same as F of X. Okay, well that's a problem then. Because we need to pass with default gets the default argument first. All right, now let's see what greater than pipe means. Oops, pipe less than pipe. Okay. F gets X. Okay. Let's see. Maybe with default. I guess I can flip these around. Maybe with default, this goes in the end. Why are you down there? I don't know. Okay, so with default takes a thing. Is that going to work? That's the default object. Let me fully parenthesize just to make sure I'm clear myself. Okay, so you give me the default object. You give me the maybe, which is get room name dungeon, and that's going to go to image. Okay. Ooh, I lost it. Yeah, it's over here. Okay, save this. Passed. Okay. I think my other test is going to pass too. Two tests passed. Okay. Small victories. I'll take it. All right. It's time for a break again. We'll take 2 minutes. We'll come back and we'll deal with the other side about getting the connections. And I don't know where quite where I'm going, but I'm kind of thinking like if I had this little dungeon object and it's going to know the stuff. Okay. And I think image, I don't know. I kind of am wondering if I should be making an image name type or something to keep these strings straight. But let's not worry about that right now. Let's get the exit knowledge in there first. Okay. And I think given that we'll be able to start our little trip. All right, 2 minutes. See you in a bit. Welcome back. All right. So the next test, I want to say, room knows its connections. And this one I'm not as worried about the empty case, because an empty list of connections is a perfectly fine list. All right, so we won't concern ourselves there. And we're going to take let's take one like this. From the list, room image name, let's give it 2 rooms. Okay, room 1 connects to, has image 1, and it connects to room 2. And room 2, as you might suspect, connects to room 1. Okay, so we have this list. Okay. Room 1 connects to room 2. Room 2 connects to room 1. And if we pipe this thing to exits, we get some exits for room 1. Well, let's take room 2 just to be a little different. And if we get that, we expect it to equal room 2, room 1. Okay. Now, does that fit what we think? So far, my dungeon is just kind of a, well, I guess it's got a little bit of a data structure aspect to it. Okay, let's say it again. Dungeon is formed from a list with room 1 with its image and goes to room 2, room 2 with its image and goes to room 1. And we ask for the exits for room 2, and it should be the room 1 list. Okay. And so we need, well, it's going to tell us we don't have exits. Yep. So back in here, can I split this? Right? Yes. If these weren't in the way, it would be pretty useful. Okay. Well, I'm going to move from list up. Okay. And if you want to get the exits from a room name, go, okay, this is too annoying. Yes, I want to save them. The exits from a string in a dungeon gives us a list of string. And exits on room name in dungeon is, okay, well, I guess again, we need the other test first. The test I said couldn't happen. Okay. Oops. Okay, that seems like a good thing. Random dungeon. We'll just take this again. Gotta clean up format. Nope. Okay. All right. I'll admit, I thought from the description I was getting from people, I expected a little more support from Elm. Or for Elm. Okay, so if we ask for exits with an unknown room, we expect that to equal an empty list. Okay, and my dungeon is in trashed shape. All right. Okay. I just saw a pipe. And that should be a lambda. Okay, we got, we expected empty list. All right. We can certainly make that pass. Right. Now let's make this one pass. Okay, I think the test is still good. Should fail. Okay, it got room, oh, we expected room 1. It got empty. All right. Now we're going to do something kind of similar to this. We're going to get the sort of default room and return its exits. Okay. All right. That seems like a really good place to check in. Now, where am I? Okay, let's see the status. Example elm, test folder, dungeon elm. Example elm, dungeon test elm, to-do. That all seems good. I guess my to-do is out of date, right? Okay. We got the CSS working. We've been working on navigation through the dungeon. Okay, the navigation. Right. All right, now I feel like we've got something. I need settings. I don't think I need example. Yeah, I feel like we can kind of make something work off this. And I don't know. Well, I want to kind of get there, but I don't know if I can. See my model now. I think my model needs to be it needs to be the string name of the room. Boy, I'm already feeling like that's that bare string. It's not good. All right, but at any rate, I want my model to be the bare string name. Now, is model defined in here? I guess it implicitly. Oh, my model equals int. Okay, now, okay. But where I have images, I want to make a dungeon. All right, so I'm certainly going to have to import dungeon. Import dungeon exposing all for now. I'm going to get better on those exposings, but I just don't want to get balled up on that part. All right, so let's make a dungeon. I think I can just say dungeon equals, and then just like we did in our tests, I can make some like this one. Okay, main. I can do this. Now, I don't know why this does not format. Okay, so now I have a dungeon that's got 2 rooms, and I'm going to make it be these 2 files again. Okay, so I'm saying room 1 is the prototype, room 2 is the proxy. If you're in room 1, you want to go somewhere, you can go to room 2, and vice versa. All right, now let's try. Let's get our model going. Okay, got 20 minutes. Let's see if we can do this. All right, so I'm saying my model should be a string now. This string should be room 1. All right, so we're starting our dungeon in room 1. Now, people should start complaining. If I want to go from, well, let's work on this one first. If I want to go to a model, from a model to the HTML, what I should do is I should do maybe with default. I don't think I need to do maybe with default. I want to say, let's copy this. Okay, class main image, sure. The source is something else. The source is, I want to take the dungeon what I want to do, I want to do dungeon.image for room, which is model, and dungeon. Okay, I'm going to comment this one. So I'm saying take the dungeon. Well, go get the image of the model, which is room 1 for dungeon, and display that image. Now these things, I don't know, they're not going to be happy because they're doing other stuff. Let's whoops. Let's go to Reactor. Wherever that got off to. Okay. Here. Let's go back to the main page. I'm going to do a Shift Option R. Okay. I got dungeon, I got main. All right. Oh, perhaps we should use Elm's comment syntax. This usage of from list, it could be dungeon or array in main.elm. And 61. Oh, I don't even want images in here anymore. Okay. And that's the consequence of importing array and dungeon. They both have a from list and it's ambiguous. Okay, so save this. Reload. Okay. Last argument is not what I expected. The image value is string to dungeon goes to string, but source needs the first argument to be a string. But string, okay, maybe parentheses will solve this. Dungeon.image of model and dungeon should be a string. Okay. I'm still expecting some problems with those increments. All right, no auto thing. Model plus 1. Addition does not work. Okay. Increment is well, I'm going to give it a dummy value for now. Okay, I'm just returning model. All right, so we're not navigating anywhere. Okay, and reload. I get a picture. Okay, now previous is going to take me right back to this same thing. Okay. Now, what do I think? I think my model is really the dungeon and the room. Okay. Now, what I would like to do is I would like to put some buttons. I would like to go through my list of exits for this room and put some buttons. Okay. We'll see. This model thing may be a little weird, but now this should be. Oh, I don't think I can't hard code the list. Right, but what I want is a button for each element of my exits. Okay, and the text is going to be mysterious. I think in each case the text should be question mark. All right, but I want these things to be, I want a list. Okay, what do I want to do? I want to find the images. I want to find the exits, and I want the images for each element of exits. Okay, so given a list I've got my list of exits. I would like to turn that into a list of buttons. Okay, that seems doable. That let syntax, do we still remember that? Let name equals something in expression. Let's use that just to get myself straight here. Let buttons is going to be a list well, let's let buttons equals something in this. Okay, and I'm going to put this in another div. Let's try it like this first. All right, so I'm kind of playing with my format. Let's let buttons equals empty lists. That's fine. All right, save that and see what we get. I'm hoping it looks more or less the same. Image expects 2 arguments, but it got 5. Image of that. That should be a comma. Okay, that's kind of doing its thing. Wait, these just take you back where you are. All right, now I want to take, I want to take dungeon dot exits model dungeon, right? Now that is a list of room names. And I would like to map each one. Let's find a map example. Okay, we map function to the list. All right. So what I want to do is I want to do a list.map. And that thing takes a function and a list. All right, here's the list. The function is lambda, and it gets some room name, goes to, well, this should be a button. Message and model. Well, it's gonna go to button on click something, let's say increment for now, and text is, let's put the room name here. Okay, even though I don't think this is what I want, but I'm just trying to get the map straight. So I'm creating a list of buttons. Right, so take all the exits, turn each one into a button with an on-click increment, and the text being the same as the room name. And then I'm going to put that list down here. Okay. And I can put that one line. Okay, so I'm, instead of my hard-coded buttons, I'm generating them from the list of exits in the room. And I don't know, that's getting a little, it's on that line between UI and real use. Oh, okay. Based on the indentation, I was expecting to see the in keyword next. Is there a typo? My indentation is so sloppy. I think I need to do this maybe. Like that. Will that work? I think let and in have to be in the same column. Let's part through a let expression, but I got stuck here. Lambda room name. I expected to see the in keyword next. Let buttons equals something in. I'm going to parenthesize it. Exactly the amount of spaces. Now, I thought that was one of the ways. Well, let's try this. I'm trying to conform to the style standard. He's happy. Second argument to div is not what I expected. Value is list of HTML message. I need it to just be list of HTML message. Okay. Okay, say that again. So I'm getting a list of HTML messages, but I really just want to be a list of HTML message. All right, this is list of HTML. Why is this not a HTML message? And I don't know, is there a flat map? Basics. What am I in? Basics. Map. List.map on by form. Let's go to list. Map, indexed map, fold, filter, filter map. Oh dear. Interesting stuff, but it's not helping me. Concatenate, list of A goes to list of A. Concatenate turns that into that. Well, let's try concat then. What does concat map do? A goes to list of A goes to list of A, list of B. Map a given function onto a list and flatten the resulting list. So let's try concat map. Capital? Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to say it's going to be right, but at least it may show us something. Ha! Oh, room 2. Now that's what I'm expecting. All right, let's up our dungeon a little bit. Okay, room 1 can go to room 2 or room 3. Room 2 goes back to room 1, and room 3 goes to the room images slash let's just grab 1H hotel. And room 3 can go back to room 1. Okay. Save that. Now, I don't think this changed any code. Boom. What do we do? Third element is a tuple of type string. List of string goes to room list of string. String room. Room, oh, comma, darn. Okay, room 1 can go to room 2. The buttons don't work, but they're placed how I want them. All right. Well, that gets us fairly far. Really, what we're left with at this point is we got to deal with update, and I don't increment decrement don't mean anything. It's going to have to be something else, which I think is like go to. You're in one room, you go to one of the others. So my view of this, and I want to center this, but you got the image. You're going to have some text describing it, probably on the left, and on the bottom you'll have a bunch of alternatives. Where can you go next? You can go to room 2 or room 3. And right now I show those names. I don't think I want to show them. I'm just going to say room or unknown room, or something. If they've been there, I want to catch it, but that's a future story. All right, but I think we made good progress today, and thanks for joining me. Next time will be Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. Eastern Time, and we'll pick up from here. I mean, I feel like we made some progress. I'm getting a little smoother with Elm. We'll get there. So thanks for joining me. Catch you again. Bye-bye.